he knows that I'm going to want to mix it together at some point in time. Fair enough. You're probably not wrong there. Curiosity killed the cat is a saying for a reason. This time I'm the cat. And then he is worried that it is more volatile than it really is. I told him I'll bury it in the backyard underneath the ground. He's like, "You're not going to bury it. You're too lazy for that." All right, fair enough. But he thinks it takes less force, and I tried to argue that, and he just went back to, "You're crazy, and it's something that goes boom." Shit. I can't win this argument, can I? No. So if I want to get tannerite, I have to do it on a point in time when he's not home. So, like during the week, stop by Academy and pick up a couple boxes and then put it in my closet to hide away. And then whenever I decide to utilize it, it's there for me.
Just keep a bag and put whatever you want in it and carry the bag out.
Exactly. The fun part is I saw this idea as a joke. And I'm over here like, that's absolutely brilliant. So, with how red flag laws are going, HR 1808, how aggressively the left is coming, and they're coming for our guns because they want to raise their taxes on everything so we can pay more money to pay them so they can enjoy their lives of luxury and continue bribing people. That's why they want to get the guns away, because we went to war over taxes in the first place. They really don't think we'll do it again. So the idea, you get a plate carrier, right? You don't put plates in it. You put tannerite. You put it on a mannequin by your front door holding a firearm. So when red flags go down and they kick in the door, drop the gun, he's not dropping it, and they start shooting, what kind of alarm worked the best?
Kaboom.
Kaboom! Everybody's awake now. Everybody in the neighborhood's awake now. You shot the dummy full of tannerite. My front door doesn't exist anymore. And that's technically not a booby trap. That's only a booby trap for people that shoot the damn thing. And normal people like medics and first aid responders aren't going to come into a house and their first instinct be yell and shoot. So that bypasses the whole, it's a booby trap. So it's not illegal to do. They can argue that point, but at the same point in time, no, the only people that it's a threat to are people that are shooting it. Well, what if we need to come arrest you? Arrest me for what? I'm a law-abiding citizen. Well, what happens when HR 1808 goes down? Are you going to enforce that law? Yeah, we're going to come and take your guns away. How do you know I have guns? Well, the ATF was running around the past few weeks photographing everybody's from firearms manufacturers, their licensing and everything like that. Illegally, mind you. So that would be the only way you know I have firearms. And that means you're coming to my house to shoot me. Not only that, you're violating your oath saying you're coming to take guns away. So no, by the Second Amendment, by the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, I can put a mannequin in my front doorway holding a firearm stuffed with tannerite.
Now you got one thing you got to worry about.
You got to get the ratio right so you don't burn the house down.
No. You answer the door, and one of these new armed IRS agents want to come in and audit your paper. You better have a place to duck and cover when they shoot it.
Have you seen their training?
They can't hit a broadside of a barn.
It's not.
Yeah, but his luck, one of them would aim correctly.
My luck, they try and hit me and hit the dummy, and then we're all going up, and I'm going out in a blaze of glory. Don't care. But they are barrel flashing their team aggressively. Wally, think of it this way. Whenever we play AA, do you have any kind of barrel control? Ever? Not pointing at your friendlies? Same shit. These guys are pointing guns at backs and back of head of friendlies. Half of them look like they're about half my age. So their IRS, oh, we bought all this ammo, we've got guns, we're hiring 86,000 more agents so we can audit everybody now. The only reason they want to audit everybody is so they can make sure that they're getting all their money. You're about
No. You know why they're auditing them, don't you?
Go ahead.
Okay. I guarantee they come in and audit your taxes. If you're a homeowner, they're going to find something in there where they can freeze the access and take your house.
Oh, I agree with that.
You know why they want to do that? We have a lack of housing for illegals.
No, we don't. No, the hell we don't. There are, in one state, there was 56,212 empty houses with 6,000 homeless.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of houses. The housing market's shit because they've been skyrocketing prices. Inflation is real. We are in a recession. Doesn't matter what the government's saying at this point in time.
Right.
Hi, Jailbird, by the way. We are in a recession. We have the highest inflation rates. Even if you got a pay raise this year, it's odds are it is not matching the rate of inflation. So if you got a 4.8% pay raise, your money is still going less of the distance that it was last year. The mainstream media is trying to call it not a recession or there is no inflation. They're trying to make it good. Then they're taking credit for gas prices dropping 20 cents. I'm sorry, it's still up $2 freaking.
And on top of it, once that
jagging each other off on this shit.
Once that reserve is gone that he released, it's going to skyrocket right back up.
Exactly.
Right.
So even when you hire all these agents to audit people, you will have record tax fraud. Are you going to come and arrest every single person? 86,000 staff. We'll say IRS currently with this has 150,000 people on staff now. There's 11.7 million veterans alone. 11.7 million veterans. Don't get me wrong. Not all of them are good, cream of the crop, bright, violent, angry, aggressive bastards like I am. But there's a good portion of them out there that are just the same as me that like their pews and really hate how the government's going. You can be very patriotic and love your country and hate the cunts running it. We used to have, we used to have kingdoms ran by kings. Now we've got countries ran by cunts. So,
yeah,
when they decide, it's not an if, ladies and gentlemen, it's definitely a when. They decide to start doing these audits and trying to find everybody's tax records. And, why didn't you file in 2018, Cameron? Because I didn't have to. What do you mean? I was on work comp. That's not taxed. There's no W-2. There's nothing tracking that. Right. So I had nothing to show a record that I was, for you jackasses, that I was getting paid for that year. Second thing, my veteran disability. Untaxed. So piss off. I don't have to record that. Well, we see you've got crypto and all this. Y'all only started that bullshit because you saw you could make money. And that's every time you find we have income tax, gas tax, groceries are taxed. You get taxed just existing. That's why suicide's illegal, by the way, because Jane, they do not want they're paying people to disappear. Why do you think when your parents, grandparents passed away, there's a death tax? They're coming for your parents' money that they willed to you. They don't care. They want the money. Right. It's all about greed. Every last bit of it's about greed. Look at toll roads. Perfect example. Toll roads were created with the purpose that the toll would pay for the road. There's a contract, and I've done work with gentlemen that have done toll roads. The contract dictates that the toll road is going to be up for X amount of time, where X is the amount of money that the contractor wanted to receive, or however many years they wanted to be paid. So it could be, we want this amount of money, or we want it for this amount of years. Those are the two options. Once that time frame is up or the revenue is received, the tolls are supposed to be removed. They've paid for the road. That's how they set them up, which our taxes should be going for better. Why do I have to get my truck constantly checked every single year to make sure it's safe for the road, but y'all don't make sure the road is safe for my
It's safe for our vehicle.
Exactly.
So obviously my taxes aren't going to where I need them to. You look at any politician through history, with the exception of Donald Trump, because he lost money becoming a president. One of our founding, was it our founding fathers? I can't remember the bastard that said it. The only way to become rich in politics is to be corrupt. How is Nancy Pelosi, the Bidens, Clintons, how are they worth millions of dollars? They have books. I don't know many people buying the books unless they're shooting them or burning them or using them as toilet paper. So, yeah.
I got one under the table to help level the table up. It needs to be on the floor anyway.
Yeah. It's where the dog likes to.
It's a good fire starter for the fireplace. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you need
it is. I keep it in case times get rough. I got something to burn.
Yep. And I needed some kindling and toilet paper. It's an all-purpose book. I'm not going to read the thing, so it's not worth the entertainment purpose.
As long as it's real good paper and not that glossy shit.
Or if you just want to see things get yeeted in the air, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to see confetti.
Let's compare Hillary Clinton's book to like clay traps. That's our next skeet shooting episode. Instead of shooting clay pigeons, we're going to shoot Hillary Clinton's book. Pull! Okay, it's really useful for that.
Don't say that too loud. Demolition Ranch might do that.
Let me get some slugs. I got to see how this goes against the slug. The bird shot and buckshot was hilarious. Let's see what up in... No. Give me the 3.5 inch.
Oh, hell no.
Get your 50 oh, hell out. Yeah.
Get your 50 out. Get it ready.
You got to be pretty accurate for that. And if you pull, you've got to set that out and have a wall stop. You can't just throw a book in the air and play shot put with a 50 BMG.
Yeah, I do.
Or a 50 Beowulf.
I don't know where it's going to land after that.
Exactly.
Well, if you point it towards the east, you're getting close.
The problem, so that myth of rounds traveling miles and actually killing people is been proven factual. When people, and it's not when you shoot a gun straight up and down, it's not going to kill people. That's actually true if it's straight up and down, because it hits its terminal velocity and stops. It's going to sting, but it's not going to kill you.
The velocity of it coming down can.
No, it can't. It's when you fire it at an angle, because it never hit. Even if that angle is 1 degree off, because with the Earth's rotation, it's going to continue to move. Because of that angle, its trajectory is still straight. There's not a point when it went straight up, stopped, and then came back down. If it does that, it can't kill you. It's when you fire it at that degree and it doesn't hit that stopping point where it lost the majority of its power, that's where it kills you. Because then a 22 actually travels over 1.25 miles.
Yeah.
So a 22 travels a very long distance, and that's a very small.
My thought, it still falls under the theory if you was on top of the Empire State Building, like they said.
That got debunked. That's also fake.
Oh, is it?
Yep, Mythbusters.
When you drop the penny off?
It stings like a son of a bitch from when. So Mythbusters was a great show, and I wish we could bring it back.
Yes, it was.
So yes, Mythbusters is what actually debunked the bullet straight up and down and the penny. And that's what they found, because all that happens. This is a 22 round for everybody that's curious, by the way. They are very, very, I mean, this is a oh God, 22 long rifle and 22 short, also known as a subsonic.
Yeah.
So it's less power. So they are very, I mean, very tiny rounds. They're, I mean, this 22 shorts.
They're varmint rounds.
Yeah, they're a varmint round. It's actually a round used by assassins for.
And they're also one of the best bullets that all the hitmen used to use.
Exactly. So what they had found is and that's how the reason the myth became that is because a lot of people were dying from it. Well, we fired straight up. What happened? If you are not firing straight up and it's moving with the rotation of the earth, the account for gravity and all the math you have to put into this, if that angle does increase over time, you do lose some of your penetrating power, but not nearly enough to make it less lethal or less than lethal. So because it's continuing at that angle, it is still penetrating like a normal round. That's why some of these guys there was a gentleman that just got a world record revolver freaking shot at like a mile. He had to aim 43 feet above his target. 43 feet he had to compensate for bullet drop. He got it. So that's why it kills people. Well, yes, technically it does because you're firing at an angle. No, we're firing straight up and down. It should just come straight back down. Do you have a level on your gun? Are you adding math and doing formulas?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't even comment on it.
Yep. So that's what was causing the issues because of the failure of calculating and actually being able to assure everything was fired straight up and down. Now, there is the 14.9 SLP round, which is anti-material rifle, which stays supersonic past 5 miles. Yeah, it makes a 50 BMG look tiny. Unfortunately, they're not actually a mass-produced rifle, and anything that's considered anti-material is actually illegal in America.
And that's with a bullet. Now,
okay,
firing straight up and cam down, that will kill you.
Yes, because it's got a point to it. It's also very lightweight, and it does.
It would actually pick. If you shot this up at a mine that can shoot 100 yards,
it would pick up momentum
and go up and come down. It would pick up enough speed faster than what it went up.
Yep. Yep, Carl, you see it too.
Yeah. This is the Second Amendment wrench. We talk about weapons, from guns to bows and arrows to crossbows.
Yeah, actually.
And any other thing we want to talk to on this podcast. If this doesn't interest you, switch the channel. Yes, this is live. See? I got my pointer. This is live. He's got his play toy out now. This is a play gun.
Yes. There was a group of rednecks. Now, this is a super shorty shotgun. This is actually illegal. Except everybody, oh, he's got an illegal gun. Call the ATF. No, it's not actually 100% illegal. So, yep, Carl. So when I bought this, I had to wait 6 months to receive it because I had to do an extensive background check, which means that had to go through multiple different agencies. There is a background check for every single firearm with the exception of black powder and 80%, which is where government is getting those guns because they can mill it out themselves. Well, criminals are stupid most of the time. But there was a group of rednecks that were taking shotguns and they would go out in the woods and they would shoot their buddies with birdshot. Mind you, this was at about 100 yards. Still hurts like shit. Not only that, I love the variety of ammunitions you can get for shotguns.
Yes.
So, yes, even when I say the 14.9 SOP is illegal, there are ways around the legality where you can get it legally but it's not legal for this. If I wanted Carl to use this gun, he has to be with me at all times. It's just like drinking in Texas. You can drink underage with your parents in a bar as long as your parents are present. Actually, that's across certain states as well. So, chillax, friendly fires everywhere, I promise. I'm not going to get into the history of that, where grenade fragging, the term fragging actually comes from. Okay, history lesson time. Fragging actually came from when enlisted would throw grenades into an officer's berthing, barracks, whatever. Carl.
I did it. Don't worry.
So whenever they had an officer that had conflicting orders, was problematic, somebody that was difficult, they would throw a grenade in that officer's barracks or berth, wherever he was sleeping. So because of that, that's where we got fragging. So friendly fire happens all the time. But yeah, the shotgun is one of the most durable, multiple use, and it's just a great all around. Again, I continuously say there is no such thing as an all-purpose gun. You can get multi-purpose, you can get multi-use, you can change quite a bit of things. You can modify them. In fact, there are some rifles out there where they can have interchangeable barrels where you can use anywhere from 2 to, I want to see, the most I've seen was 6 different calibers from one frame. So there are a lot, but that's still modifying it. Now, again, that's technically one gun, so it could be considered an all-purpose gun, because the only thing the ATF actually considers for that gun would be the upper receiver. There are certain fire, and when it comes to legality and knowing what you can and cannot do, which legally you can own an 80% lower without milling or anything or going through a background check, and you can do it yourself. You cannot legally sell them. So the federal government's saying, oh, this is illegal to do. It's not. It's somebody manufacturing their own firearm, which is protected by the Second Amendment. Right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. If I want to make my own guns, I'm legally allowed to do so. Now, the selling part is where you shouldn't be able to sell a gun to just some random Joe Blow on Facebook and say, yeah, I trust you. You look like a good guy, because you can't gauge people. So I that's where I kind of agree and disagree with the ghost gun argument quite a bit. I hate the terminology for ghost guns, because there's not a ghost gun. There's just guns manufactured by people. I mean, you really want to talk about something? Let's talk about over 100 firearms that were stolen in South Dakota. Where do you think those are going? So it doesn't matter what you ban or outlaw or frown upon or get offended by. Criminals are still going to find a way to get what they want, whether it means by theft, murder, you name it. So there's 100 guns that were serialized, have numbers on them, gone. Where
Did you see that story up there in Maine on that 60-year-old man that got raided on the triggers?
Binary triggers?
Is the binary trigger the one that you can put in a weapon and it almost turns it into fully automatic?
So I can't remember the other name for them, but it's binary trigger, and it's like an augmentative trigger, something like that.
Something like that, right?
What it means is when I pull the trigger, it fires around, and when I release the trigger, it fires. Night Jane. When I release the trigger, it fires around. So it's technically still 2 actions. So the ATF banned something illegally because it's still pull, fire, release, fire, pull, fire, release, fire. It's still multiple actions for this gun.
Yeah, they raided this 60-year-old man's house up there. 2 of his weapons had this in it, and he had the trigger assemblies. He had 15 more trigger assemblies, and they took 23 weapons out of his house, which is a bunch of BS.
Oh no, I fully agree with that. That's why
It just happened like a week ago.
That's why I completely any red flag law that comes out. I'm just going to disregard any new gun law that can't legally affect me. You know how many people, how many law-abiding citizens you're going to turn into criminals if HR 1808 passes?
That's
which
right.
for some damn reason they still won't give us a date when the bill is supposed to go to the Senate.
See, that's why up here in Missouri we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to go by any past, present, or future gun law set by the government.
Unfortunately, you still do. And hear me out. Give me just 1 second, Wally. I'll let you feel. So remember in September of 2021, Texas passed this several bills. One removed the ban on knuckles, or basically they re-legalized brass knuckles. They re-legalized switchblades. Any blade length you want to carry, you can legally carry. They also passed the Texas suppressor bill, which stated any suppressor made and sold in Texas to Texans is legal. No need for a background check. No gun store followed that. You know why? Because the ATF was still going after not only the purchasers of the suppressors with a $10,000 fine and up to 5 years in federal prison, so a felony charge. They would go after the person that sold it. So They were still hitting them federally. So yes, your state may have passed a law that protects everything, but it comes down to, is your police force going to arrest all of the feds, ATF, CIA, FBI, NCIS, anybody that comes, hey, we're going to come arrest you. You can't have the suppressor. You didn't get a background check on it. It's a tool. A suppressor, it's not a silencer. I just want to use my one. It's not a silencer. Movies give suppressors a terrible rep, absolutely crap rep, which is why I don't agree with Silencer Co. Why would you name your company unless it was meant to be ironic? Okay, but it reduces the actual decibel level to a point where it is tolerable for you to use it without hearing protection. The problem only problem they can have with this, because it reduces damage to the ears for hunters, guys and gals that go to the range regularly. You don't have to worry about if you've got a private range, you don't have to worry about your hearing protection or hearing loss because of this. The problem they have with it is if my gun is suppressed and I'm not wearing hearing protection, I can still hear where you are in my house. Go ahead, Wally.
So, this letter that your attorney general sent to, who was it? You know what I'm talking about, right?
The most professional FU I have ever seen.
Yes.
I was so proud of Missouri.
Missouri sent, the Missouri Attorney General sent a letter to, was it the ATF, Cameron? This was beginning of the week I seen this, so it's a little blurry in my head.
It was somebody way up there. It may have been higher than the ATF.
But they were saying that they're going to come in.
It may have been the district attorney.
And all the sheriff's office they were going to go to and get everybody's name that was on the registered CCW.
Yep. Which is illegal, by the way.
Which is illegal, and they told them and gave them a big middle finger.
The government is completely banned from knowing who has a concealed carry permit.
Exactly.
They are supposed to be banned from knowing who owns firearms at all. That's why I'm raising such hell about the ATF and the federal government going into gun stores and police stations and illegally filming and photographing their registries.
Yeah, they're not allowed to.
No,
they're not. That's one thing about our governor, our attorney general, and Senator Josh.
They want none of it.
They're not going to stand for it.
No, and they should.
And we got to get more states involved in this.
You know what? I really want to see them try something in Missouri.
I do too. I can tell you exactly
I really want
what
them
our
to try, because if they get through the sheriff and the police, what's behind them? every law-abiding citizen, and it's
If the
everyone in
feds
Missouri
showed up
probably
here
owns
to
some
try to
such
take
a
something,
firearm.
all I got to do is
Missouri-
call the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will walk right past them feds and stand at my front door with me. I can tell you that right now.
Wally, you know Missouri is a very hunter-heavy state, right?
And that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Carl, isn't Missouri's favorite caliber, I don't know, 30-06?
Yep.
Hey, Wally, you know what 30-06 punches through really well? Level 3
Armor.
plates. No, not all armor. It can go against level 4. All right. Takes a couple rounds depending on where you hit them.
Or
That
just
can
go,
do some damage.
or just go. Well,
This
I
will
won't say
go
that.
through that door I have on the front door.
I'm
in
so
anyone.
happy you brought that back up, Carl. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you don't have anything that can punch through level 3 or 4 body armor, you know what body armor doesn't protect unless you go full suit, which is about $1,500. Don't ask me how I know that.
Okay.
You know what it doesn't protect? Oh, I don't know. Arms, neck, legs.
That's what I was just gonna add.
Your personal bits, gentlemen. You know what a shotgun does to your junk?
Yep.
Or what an arrow does to your carotid artery running down your or femoral artery running down your thigh?
A shotgun to the genital area will give you a free transgender.
Well, you look at the broadheads I got different ones that'll go in and come out a 2.5-inch hole.
All you have to do is nick the femoral artery, and they have, depending on how much you hit it, 2 to 10 minutes before they bleed out. The only way to stop them from dying is a tourniquet. And a tourniquet has to, medical trained bullcrap for my work, right? A tourniquet, as soon as you apply it, you have to mark it with a Sharpie because they only have about 15 minutes. Because after that time frame, the blood becomes toxic. You can actually cause shock. You can cause a pulmonary embolism. There's many different issues you can cause with putting a tourniquet on. If it's too long, I want to say it's anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. The only thing they can do with that tourniquet afterwards is cut the leg off.
Yep.
That's the only thing they can do is amputate. Yeah, I mean, mind you just gave this guy free disability for the rest of his life and terrible PTSD, depending on where you're and what you're shooting him with. Because I'm very fond of the free sex changes for intruders with Wally. I've got plates on. I've got buckshot and I'm aiming low. What do you mean you're aiming low? Oh, he shot my dick off. Yeah.
Kind of like
low.
Kind of like the old man that shot the guy in the arm. And he said he shot my arm off.
God damn it, buddy! You did not shoot a man in the dick. No, so body armor only protects so much. I'm a huge guy. Ask Carl. I am a very large man. I have a plate carrier. It only covers from my rib cage to my collarbone, and it's an 11 by 14 inch plate.
Right.
So I have bought the biggest plate carrier that is offered on the market. And with my size, you know what's below the rib cage? Your stomach. You want to watch somebody die painfully? The Vikings used to, if you got in a battle to the stomach in the Viking era, they would feed you a heavy onion meal. It would be a stoop. You would have a shit ton of onions. They'd walk away, come back. If the room smelled like onions, you were dead. You would be put down because dying from the stomach acid eating you away from the inside sucks. I've got so much random historical knowledge up here.
That's what they call septic, right?
What do you got for a gun fail tonight?
Oh shit, we're already that far in?
Yeah, we're already over a half hour.
Oh my god. Whoops. All right. So y'all have seen it on my show. I put my guns against the wall. Knowing your guns, knowing how they're cleaned, how they function, this is where everything comes. And when I put my guns down on a wall, I am ensuring that not even a sneeze is going to knock these damn things over.
Yep.
Because this is where you start running into that problem. Lean back.
Oh, shit.
That was a shotgun going off. So I want you to notice. So first off, that shotgun's on a raised platform. He's in a rolling chair.
Yep.
It is up against the wall.
There's nothing supporting that either.
And there's an angled stock on it.
There's not a good angle to it to prevent it from going forwards or backwards. There's nothing. It does not have a good enough angle to prevent it going left to right. When I put my guns on the floor, my guns go in a corner.
Yep.
Because now I have contact with the floor and 2 walls on the barrel. So it can't go left or right. And I'm putting it out about anywhere from 8 to 15 inches. You're right.
I wonder what he was going live to talk about when this happened.
He was talking. He's got a new gun. When he says it's a big, when he pulls up the round and he says it's a big round, I like it. So he's trying to show off his collection wearing a mask. Jeffrey Pfeffer, you're 100% correct. Body armor only protects vitals, lungs, heart. You can get helmets for your brain. This is where the important shit is. This is what will kill you almost immediately. This will not. There are, as you point out, there are shoulder pads. There's also an abdominal plate carrier, which is a 6x8 or a 4x7. I want to say the previous sizes. Don't quote me on that one. I haven't looked at abdominal carriers in a while. But you lose a little bit depending on how much overhang you're going to have. Jacket to abdominal carrier. There are full body carriers where you can get arms, legs, heads, chest, stomach, back, lower back. You can get everything covered. They run about $1,500. You can get up to level 4, but they are fairly expensive. It would be cheaper to get a level 4 riot shield, but those things also weigh anywhere from 30 to 80 pounds.
Better start eating your Wheaties, Cameron.
Plus, on top of that, he must not had his safety on that shotgun.
Wouldn't have mattered. If the safety was on with a misfire like that, it could have been multiple problems. The safety being on is critical. Yes, that could have been the problem. It could also have been a faulty firing pin. It could have been a faulty primer in the shotgun round itself.
Or it could be one of them loose safeties that's been used back and forth and wore out.
It could have been there's multiple defects. There could have been material in the gun. He did a piss poor cleaning. There was a rock, a pebble, a grain of sand behind that, and it was just enough to set it off. There are many different things that could have led to this gentleman's gun going off. What could have prevented this is not putting it on a damn cabinet behind a rolling chair.
Too bad it didn't shoot his computer.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny.
That
We
would
wouldn't have got the video, though.
But he just put a hole through something with a 12 gauge. And if he's like me and running double-aught buck, he's got a...
That's a pretty good size hole.
Right,
that's a pretty good size hole. Because, and police actually have come forward and said, if you're going to use a gun to protect your house, use a shotgun, which I can agree somewhat. For some people, a shotgun is great. It's the audible noise scares off a lot of home intruders. If your shotgun is not compact like mine, you have an extra 2 feet sticking out. Where if you're going to sweep your house, one thing they always train you, when you sweep your house, this comes out with your line of sight. When you go to peek a corner, this is leading you. That way, when you come around with it, if there's a target there that you need to fix, same instant, you're pulling the trigger. So your recognition skills, cognitive abilities, and ability to recognize that there is a threat is important. If you lead with your gun or your eyes, one of those is not following along and you have a risk of being injured or killed because of it. You want to sweep at the same presence. Yeah, and Jeffrey, you bring up another point. If he's running slugs, his neighbor needs a new fridge. The reason why they want you to use shotguns is, one, the audible noise is very, 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 very distinct. That's usually enough to piss off most home intruders. And now I have
Didn't even hear that one, Cameron.
I heard it.
I didn't hear it all at all. It cut
I
out.
did. He racked it.
Here you go, Wally. This one's for you. Happy now? Apparently your audio hates me.
He's got to get hearing aids.
He's got to get
his
hearing
age
aids.
is getting to him.
This is also meant to use 1 3/4 slugs, not 2 3/4 slugs. How much all my guns cost? I'm not going to disclose that information there for multiple reasons. One, I don't want somebody being able to. Where the hell did that shotgun round go? I'll find it here in a second. I don't want people to be able to guess how much firearms I have. Also, don't want to paint a target on my back for people to, we're going to come and rob you because we know you have X amount of dollars for firearms. You never want to really disclose anything you don't have to. I will say enough.
Enough you could have afforded a new RC remote control car.
Yep.
More than that.
I mean, they're all water.
You didn't have to add that part. I was being nice.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
Well, if you go cheap,
if
you go cheap and buy the $100 ones that you can wreck all the time, you can't get a firearm for $100.
No. Well, it depends on where you're getting it.
Yeah, when I say
said
this,
cheap,
when
like
I say
Walmart.
this gun is specifically designed to hold specific rounds.
So guns,
Do guns break easily? He wants to know.
maintenance.
Maintenance,
Good maintenance is
as long as you perform good maintenance and upkeep, not really. Why are you not wanting to seat? When I say this gun is meant to hold 1 3/4 rounds, it's meant to hold 1 3/4 rounds, not 2 3/4 rounds. So it can hold up to 5+1 if you get the right size. I'm not spending the money on that.
Can hang fires happen? There again, perfect example would be that shotgun we seen in the video. If it had a grain of sand in it and a very loose slider for your fire and safety, hanging on the wall and somebody slammed the door, there's a good possibility.
I'm not sure that's what he means by hang fires. Are you talking about a delayed firing of what I think he's asking is a misfire where it's not firing immediately and then it fires off later? Can you clarify your question a little bit for me, Kimura?
We love questions on this show, so bring them all out.
Yeah, and the more educated, more information I can bring to y'all.
Can guns go off on their own?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
But it takes an outside force to cause it to go off. And that fail you just saw, that force was the gun dropping. Now, there is something that it's called a misfire where you pull the trigger, you can hear it hit the firing pin hit the primer, or you can feel it. You know that round is now live. What I mean by that is it's now a very dangerous round. The primer's been hit. The reaction's waiting to happen. And we actually had a gun fail, one of our first ones where a gentleman had that issue with a shotgun and decided to look down the barrel to try and find out what was wrong with it, blew his hat off. Thankfully, that's all that happened. Yeah. So there are ways you have to handle those situations. I don't care how durable your gun says it is in the box or anything like that. Give me enough sand, dirt, and salt water. You can even destroy it. Jeffrey, you're 100% correct. That's why it is so important to do regular maintenance and upkeep to your firearms. Not just I was pissed. Went to the Navy. My parents left my first gun, my first 12 Remington 870 in the attic. Texas, summer, heats, humidity, you name it. I came back to my shotgun being rusted to hell. It took me 3 hours to clean the damn thing to where I think it would be safe for me to using it. It works fine now, but it took a lot of elbow grease. Yes, heat and cold can affect your firearms depending. Cold's going to make them more brittle. You leave it in sub-zero temperatures, you can cause problems, but that is prolonged exposure. And the bigger problem is when you're starting to fluctuate rapidly. Hot,
Right.
cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That's why a lot of these newer gun safes come with temperature control, humidity control. The biggest thing I stress about is humidity control. If it's in your garage, you control the humidity for the internals, your guns are fine. The people that irritate me the most are the ones that leave, like I'm guilty of this. I leave my guns out a lot and I don't clean them as often as I should. And when I do, I find a lot of freaking dog fur in them. Guns in the Army in the desert. How does that? Guns in the Army. So guns have come a long way. From Carl's era, that guns are actually made by Mattel, a toy company.
Yeah.
Those M16s were notorious for jamming in NOM because of the fact of the temperature, the humidity, the mud. Those guns could not handle that situation. The AK-47 is a very robust gun. It's been like that since its manufacturing. So it's been able to hold up against sand, mud, dirt with just a hell of a little bit of a wash off in the river you pulled it out of.
Right.
But it depends on how much you're really, I mean, there are durability tests everywhere to show how rugged ARs are, AK-47s. You got to think military style. Military rifles, son of a bitch, are made by the lowest bidder.
Right. And they're tested all over the world before they're really put up for bid and sales.
Lorna Coonfield, how you protect against Texas humidity? Lubricate. Lubricate. That oil for your gun, and what I mean, we've seen how I clean my guns. There's aftercare. You want to take a little bit of oil on your hand and coat the exposed components. The best thing I can say for protecting against Texas humidity is a dehumidifying gun safe. You can get dehumidifiers. You can also get desiccant, but desiccant's going to run out of its capability after a certain point in time. So dehumidifier is going to be very beneficial for you, but they can be a little costly, especially with a gun safe. So either get desiccant, clean, and then when you lubricate your gun, lubricate all exposed metals. And what I mean by, if you have a anodized or a Cerakoted firearm, that paint or anodizing is what's protecting your gun from rusting. The bigger concerns are going to be through your barrel, your trigger guard, or not trigger guard, trigger group, mag well, mag release, safety switch, inside, outside barrel. You want to put a thin coating. You know, firearm lubricant's pretty expensive. So if you can get an aerosolized version, WD-40 is great. No, it's not meant for guns, but you clean your gun with your normal. I use shooter lube, so I clean with my solvent, and then I lubricate the components that need to be lubricated for my firearm regularly with its lube. And then I can take a can of WD-40, set it to the aerosol mode, and just lightly, I mean, I'm not up on it and just you pull it back a little bit and do a light dusting. That oil is going to create a barrier from water. Yes, your gun's going to feel greasy to you every time you pick it up, but it's going to protect it from rust.
What do you think the future of gun technology? Where is it headed? This ought to be a good answer.
Americans are big and dumb. We like things that go boom. We are going to make bigger and heavier rounds. We are still experimenting with railguns. We actually currently have a new magnetic firearm that fires a quarter size disc out of its barrel using magnets. It is rechargeable. My problem is we are where I like to be. Technology screws everything. What I mean by that, you have an EMP blast, your gun is all electronic. What happened? Like they have a new Glock modification. It tells you if your gun's unsafe on fire. It also tells you how many rounds you have left. Phenomenal technology to have. Great to know how many rounds you have left. Unfortunately, you can damage them very easily. Firearms with built-in finger sensors. We've had a guest on this show explain how faulty those are. Really easy to bypass, break, or destroy to where your gun is no longer usable at all.
Right.
So I'm more fond of, just like muscle cars, older cars, less technology. You can start one of those with a dead battery. You don't have to have power in that battery. You roll it. That's how you start it. Same thing for guns. All I need now is metal, powder, and something to give it a spark.
You're right.
That's
down
really
there
it.
On that question there, he's putting that statement. The tech guys that are trying to create the newer style weapons out of the box from what we've always had, there's always going to be issues with it. Always.
Now you're adding technology to stuff.
Yeah.
How smart of technology is it? Can it be hacked? Is it something that's not going to be... Huey?
Yes, I invited Huey to the show.
Holy shit. Hi, Huey. It's one of our
your
buddies.
guys'
Yeah,
buddies.
it's one of our buddies.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Like, holy shit. Hi, Huey.
I was waiting for him to comment. I invited him about 15 minutes ago.
So,
He's a little late.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
late.
he hopped in Discord when I was sitting in there, and I forgot I was in there. And I heard a voice in the back of my head. I was like, well, where's that coming from?
The more technology you add to firearms, the more Canada loves guns. The more problems you're going to run into. And then, like, my biggest problem, and I stress this to everybody, don't get me wrong, I love red dots. I love hollow sights. I love my scopes with lights and bells and whistles. Batteries. Give me a Trijicon ACOG scope. Give me a Vortex Viper. Give me something that doesn't need batteries, and I'm happy.
Do you want to answer that question?
Every gun that I have something with batteries, I have backups, iron sights on. Do you ever think there will be a perfect weapon, kills 100% of the bad guy 100% of the time? Well, there is. There's
the person holding the weapon.
No, it's called anti-material rifles.
Well, yeah, but
I watched the video.
Also, the person holding that weapon.
Yeah, it comes down to there can't be a smart bullet for Huey. There can't be a smart bullet because the amount of force and heat and the size of the technology you would have to cram behind a bullet would be so small. And then being able to control the trajectory at that velocity is improbable. It's not impossible, but highly improbable. So there can't be a smart bullet that I can fathom because of all the factors in place when it comes to actually firing a round. A gun that kills 100% of the bad guys 100% of the time, it depends on who's utilizing it. If you have somebody, like me, I'm an amateur at snipers. I am. I'm proud that I'm good with an AR, I'm good with a shotgun, and I'm great with a pistol. But when it comes to snipers, I have no formal training whatsoever. So I've been trying to reach out and find guys, hey man, teach me. A lot of them are out of state. Some of them don't want to work with me, or some of them want to charge a shit ton of money. Like, why? Why? If it's your business, I understand. But me reaching out to you friend to friend, like, why are you going to ask for a couple $100? I'll bring my rounds. I'll bring my gun, scopes. I'll bring all my own shit. I'll bring a case of beer. What happened to buddies just doing that shit? Hey, man, I got beer and pizza. Cool. Let's do this. But it depends on the person utilizing the weapon. There are guns out there that can get 100% of the kill 100% of the time, depending on placement, accuracy, body armor, factors, positioning, weather, hell, earth rotation. Once you fire over a certain distance, you have to actually add into your calculations the movement of the earth because your target's no longer going to be where they were standing when you pulled the trigger. So, yes, there are guns that can do that, but it's placed in a guy that can do that with that gun. But no, you're not going to have some amateur. Like, I'm not going to go to the store tomorrow, pick up a 50 BMG, and be able to kill Osama bin Laden from a mile away. Yeah, guns, you're right.
Yes. I think Cameron found a new viewer that he really likes.
That's so good. That is so good. Yes. Yes, you're right. Sniper theory actually disproves flat Earth theory. Holy shit. Oh, that is golden.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sounds like we need to invite him sometime on the show. He earned that right on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, it comes down to how accurate somebody can be with their gun. I mean, look at Kyle.
Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle, thank you. Dude was a
phenomenal.
Oh, I mean, just a reaper. If he wanted you dead, you were dead. I mean, he covered a whole, what was it, a platoon of guys from 1,200 yards?
Yep.
Something insane like that. Picked off a metric shit ton of bad guys. Had toe-to-toe. Look at the White Feather. Went toe-to-toe with other snipers and wore White Feather in his helmet testing other snipers.
There you go. There's your question.
I believe everything can be taught. It's how much effort the person learning wants to put in.
Yes.
But there is a benefit of having a natural aptitude with these weapons.
Right.
So again, my biggest problem, when I fire, we'll simulate this shotgun as a full-length shotgun. When I fire my shotgun here, I hit center mass. I can guarantee I'm hitting center mass. I don't even have to aim because my chest lines up with most people's head and chest. So as long as I just point straight from my shoulder, I'm good. When I hip fire, the Navy's biggest problem with me and wanting to give me a shotgun is because of how I'm built. My left arm pulls my gun up, so I constantly shot the targets in the head. So if you break into my house and I'm hip firing a shotgun, you will no longer have a face. That's not a natural aptitude. That's a defect. You want to aim center mass. You want to aim center mass for most targets because it's the best area where you are going to have the least likelihood of missing. But if I hit you in the face, did I actually miss? That was my argument. Right. When it comes to ARs, I mean, you're only going out to about 200 yards, depending on what type of rifle you're using. As long as you can sight it in right, which I need to get better at personally. I am terrible at sighting in my own guns. Navy never trained me on how to do that. I've never had anybody that's been proficient with sighting in scopes actually show me how to do it. So it's been a challenge trying to learn this because I can't find somebody in my area willing to work with me. But pistols, I don't know why, but a pistol feels natural in my hand. It's like a welcome home kind of a feeling. Like I put a pistol in my hands and it just feels like it's meant to be there. I grab a rifle, I grab a shotgun, yeah, it's there. And yeah, all right, he's got a lot of great questions.
Yeah, he's got a good question there.
He does.
So pistols feel great in my hands. When I went through the Navy, I actually got asked why I wasn't going to be a torpedo man because of my pistol scores. I got experts every time I shot the pistol. Is there any physical body better for using guns, short guys, tall guys, bulky, long arms? There are guns that are right and wrong for both body types.
Right.
The benefit is yes, you can get custom guns for your body. You've got to play around a little bit, go to ranges that allow you to rent firearms. Not every single gun is going to, if I hand you my Typhoon F12, if you're somebody that's about 5'6", it's going to feel big to you. Being a bigger guy, I got to play with bigger guns. But when you put something small, and my concealed carry is my dad's normal gun. Like I can hide a 1911 on my body, full-size 1911 on my body, and that's comfortable to me. You give me a subcompact or a compact thing, like my pinky's hanging over, my pinky and my ring fingers hanging over. It's not comfortable for me. So you have to figure out, there are so many different pistol sizes and calibers. You can go through Academy, Bass Pro Shops, Dick's Sporting Goods. You can go to any store that sells guns. Hey, let me see this one. Let me see this one. And they will hand you whatever gun you want. And then you can find a frame that fits your hand comfortably. So if you're going for a pistol, it's easier to find something for a pistol. For a shotgun, if you're a shorter person, you may want to go with a youth shotgun. If you're 5'2", you may want to get a 20 gauge youth shotgun. It's going to be shorter. Right. There are shorter barrel shotguns. There are also barrel replacements for shotguns. There are different stock modifications for shotguns and ARs. AR is the most versatile rifle platform you can honestly look for. Because if you want a 16-inch barrel, you want a shorter stock, you want a thinner stock, you want a lighter stock, you want a shorter gun rail, you can modify the absolute dog piss out of an AR to fit. I've got one AR that is almost the same size as my AR pistol. It's the barrel's a little longer. That's really it. Then I've got my other AR that is actually comfortable to me and feels good, and it is like 8 inches longer.
Right.
I put a longer barrel. I put a longer compensator. I put a longer stock. So yeah, I've been playing around and trying to find. I've got my honestly the most comfortable pistol I have right now is my FNX 45, and that is a fat gun. I mean, it is a fat bastard, and it feels good to me. Has anyone shot any unique antique guns, say from the Civil War? Carl.
Yeah.
That's all you.
That's all you, dude.
Yeah, I have. I've shot black powders. I've shot muskets. I mean, yeah, flintlock muskets. That's something different right there. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, every
and they got a kick to them, folks.
There's a modifiable platform for everything. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, snipers. You can modify. There's some gun out there manufacturer that allows you to modify
that will fit somebody's hand.
Yeah, so there are multiple ways to either find one you like, one you want. My biggest thing is for first-time buyers, go and hold them. Then go to a range that will let you rent one. Hey, I found this. I really like this. Let me see how I shoot it. Okay. Because you really need to have those two things when you're going to buy. You want to make sure it's comfortable in your hand, and you want to make sure you're good with it. Because I've learned I am not a fan of 9mm, and it's not like 45 punch. No, I just don't like 9mm because it doesn't have the same hit to me. It feels too light. So it's I overcompensate for a 9mm when I don't compensate for a 45 at all. It's weird. It's backwards for a lot of people. But when I put a 9 in my hand, I start pushing my gun away. So, and I'm not saying like pushing away. My finger trigger wants to go that way. So a larger gun, larger caliber, I can comfortably utilize in the best way. By all means, I follow you on.
A hold up, you go. Tell him to go to Discord. Give him the link.
Yeah, I followed you on your Twitch and I sent you a Discord link. If you didn't join through that link, I got to get you a new one. So I'll try and get you another one today. But yeah, I mean, we're always any questions any of y'all have.
Yeah, those great questions we had tonight.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, those were phenomenal. I love when y'all get questioning because that allows me to put some of my experiences, not my experience. I don't have as much experience as I would like to have. I do have the benefit of actually interviewing an RSO next week trying to figure out a little bit more for the ranch. But when it comes to gun purchasing, I try and save you a little bit of a headache and some money.
Well, tomorrow you might stick around a little bit more. We're getting ready to give away a flag. So let's get this before he leaves and everything. So,
I'm out, oh Canada.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, wow. We got a lot of entries today.
Well, we do it a different way now.
Holy shit! Huey's first time in the show and he freaking wins! What the hell? What the hell?
Okay, Hugh Dymo, send me your address on Bill of Rights Network on Facebook, and we'll get it sent out to you.
I'll get his address for you and send it over.
Okay.
Rocky.
I talk to him like every day almost. So.
Oh, okay. Do that.
Everyone taking emergency field repairs. What are you talking about there, Dave? Are you talking about
anyway, Cameron? How we do the giveaway now? We don't have to put a hashtag up. Anybody that comments over there is entered into it automatically.
Oh,
that way we get more people.
What flag? What flag is? Is it the same flag as last time, or is it a different
one? The Trump
one?
Flag. That's what we're giving away.
So that's why I always recommend, Dave. That's another good question. Are you rounds? You going to drop that? Jeffrey. I have several different rounds that are much bigger than a. Yeah.
Right.
Ask Carl. But no, Dave. So when it comes to breaking in a field, you're not going to have much option for emergency repairs, and odds are you're not actually going to be carrying the components on you at the time, even if you do carry extra components, which is highly unlikely. No veterans I've ever talked to have ever carried. They're always at the house. That's why it's important to have a backup gun. Usually it's your sidearm. That's why I like thigh holsters so much. They're comfortable, they're convenient, they're easy for me to get to my gun. Unfortunately, they sit in kind of a limbo of are they legal or are they illegal for open carrying in the state of Texas, which I think is absolutely absurd.
Right. Just like hunting here, you can't carry two weapons.
That's okay. So no, yeah. I think you should be allowed to carry your rifle and a sidearm. You're not going, like, personally, I would love to carry a Taurus Judge full of snake shot. We live in the South. There's snakes everywhere. Why am I going to waste a 338, 308, 65 Creedmoor, 5.56? Why am I going to waste that when I can just put a 410 in its mouth?
Right.
So when you're talking combat, yes, it's highly unlikely you're going to be able to make the repairs in kind of a crunch situation like that. Personally, I'm going to try and find another gun off a dead body.
Yeah.
That's really your best option there. And then make your repairs, because as soon as you start making these repairs, if you're in any kind of a wet, sandy, snowy, muddy environment, how are you going to maintain cleanliness to any extent? You start field stripping your gun out in the field, you are going to add so much, because you can't guarantee your parts are going to stay on whatever blanket you magically have. You're not going to guarantee you didn't lose your firing pin in the middle of a mud pit. So I do not recommend field stripping a gun in an uncontrolled environment ever. It's doable, but I highly advise against it. There's too many outside factors. And instead of trying to focus on combat or finding another firearm, especially in something close combat where you're able to use shotguns, pistols, ARs, M16s, M4s, different things like that, do you really want to sit here and try and fix your gun when you've got a guy coming up the stairs? Yeah, exactly. You bring up combat is different. Yours, when hunting. So no, I advise against it if possible. But if you're on a hunting trip and your gun breaks, carrying the extra components can be beneficial. But you should also be carrying a cleaning pad, blanket, something to set down where you can protect your gun as best as possible and bring a absolute shit ton of solvent. That way you can flush as much out as possible. And at the same time, when you go to your lubricant, how I showed people to lubricate on the show is just a light little drizzle, spread it out, rub it in. You're not making it cry. When you're out doing that in the field, you're going to make that baby, it's going to squirt. You want it to look like that black and orange website really quickly because you want as much crud out of there as possible. Most of you, even skeletonized ARs, have protective plates and baffles and dust covers to prevent dirt and debris from getting into critical areas. You field strip any gun, you remove whatever protection you had right there. So, but congratulations to you. Oh, it drips and foams in the field. But for black powder, I love boar butter. That sounds dirty.
And here's the list of our shows and times.
Yeah, thank you.
Going now. So check them out.
And that is what time zone?
Central Standard.
That is Central Time.
Right. Mm-hmm. These are all on Central Time. And more shows coming. So always check out the Bill of Rights Network on Facebook to keep informed.
So, yeah, this is I love shows where y'all interact and have questions and want answers, and I can get into history and terminology and pros and cons, benefits, upsides, downsides, finding you a new gun, what to do if your gun breaks, different things like that. I absolutely love getting the questions because it is so much more interactive, and I absolutely feel like I am training and trying to instill information into somebody instead of just covering HR 1808 and guns got stolen and gun buyback programs. Nobody cares about that.
That'll work, Dave. We could get one.
I don't care about any of that. I care about getting y'all safe, proficient, and confident and competent with your guns. That's what I care about. That's the whole purpose the show exists, is to get people out of the gun's the bad guy. The gun is the problem. The gun is this. It all comes down to the person. So you're talking about a bunt rifle there, Dave?
A long cannon.
Well, there is actually, it was essentially a shotgun designed to shoot down mass flocks of birds. It was 20, oh God.
Yeah, it's a long sucker. I know what you're talking about.
I want to say that was the bunt rifle. Yep, that guy.
Well, good. Hugh, you can find him on Thursday nights.
Bunt rifle.
Yeah.
This rifle was designed specifically for dealing with large amounts of birds very easily.
Pretty sad when you got to have your buddy shoulder it.
Yeah, the recoil on this gun was prone to knocking the people holding it on their ass. No, Dave, this is not an elephant gun. This was meant for birds.
Yeah.
Punt rifle, not bunt, punt. No.
You got down below in over that picture in that first row, the long picture. Click on that one.
This one?
Yeah. There, folks. Look at the difference.
There's your normal shotgun.
Who made that gun anyway?
Waterfowl, GDBD.
Yeah, Portuguese. That's right.
Good eating, though.
Cheney made it for quail honey. Cameron's busy looking that up.
Okay.
Yeah, wouldn't you hate to be out on a little canoe goose hunting and shoot that damn thing? It might send that canoe back about 50, 75 feet. I don't know if there'd be any birds left after shooting that or not. What caliber was it? Do you know?
It was a shotgun.
Right, don't tell me that.
It was a flintlock. Okay, smooth bore. Let's see. They're a 4-bore firearms, lead balls that weighed a quarter pound each, and 8-bore. All right, hold what?
4-ounce ball. Jesus.
Quarter pound balls.
That's 4-ounce ball.
Yeah, 2 bore diameters, roughly 2 inches.
Yeah.
Holland was the manufacturer, one of them.
Probably a 4 gauge.
They were similar to a 8 gauge.
8 gauge, okay.
It was a 2-inch bore barrel. So yeah, I mean the thing is firing 4 ounce, 8 foot 4 inches long, 94 pounds.
Jesus.
For birds. Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of overkill.
And like I said, was there anything left of the birds?
Odds are probably not.
And I bet you cannot find a YouTube video with anybody shooting one of those.
Watch out.
I gave him the, he's got a video.
That took 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not. Hold on.
Well, I guess there is one.
Oh, it was equivalent to a 2 gauge. So you're
That
looking
ain't long enough. A 2 gauge? Oh my God.
This is a shortened one. These are shorter punt guns.
And he's going to shoot it from a boat?
Oh, here we go.
Jesus.
Jiminy Christmas.
Hold on. Let's. I want to see this against the clay. Oh my God! Look how much that canoe mow.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't show what it did to him.
No, it didn't show what it did to the clay. Wait. Yes, it does.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
That whole wall of clay pigeons that was right here doesn't exist anymore. That was a shoulder punt gun equivalent to a 2 gauge shotgun. Currently, the largest caliber shotgun that is still in manufacturing is a 4 gauge. And the only thing those are utilized for is removing slag from the inside of forges, mass producing forges. So yeah, that's 2 gauge is smaller. So you got to think 12 gauge, 20 gauge, a little bit of a difference. So there's not much difference between the 4 and a 2. But holy ball sack. That was a wall. Was past tense.
He found his new home protection. He just eliminated his front door.
Well, it's a smooth bore, and they were saying they were
front door has left the chat.
They were using quarter pound balls. What if I go get, I don't know, a crap ton of ball bearings that are about the size of a dime?
That's gonna hurt.
That's the equivalent of bird shot to this gun. They're using buckshot and slugs for this shit and using that as their bird shot. I'm making this be bird shot, like squirrel shot.
Yeah, you could protect all your houses around your neighborhood with that.
You pull that trigger, every house is going to have damage to it.
You imagine what that would do to a car's engine?
Swiss cheese.
I don't know if it would have that amount of force or if it could be able to handle the amount of powder you would need to actually put in that thing to be able to destroy an engine. But that vehicle is done. It doesn't matter about the engine. Everything in the... By the way, there's a difference between cover and concealment. Concealment hides your presence. You can still shoot through concealment. Cover protects your whole body. You cannot shoot through cover.
So like Dave said, it looked like Fargo, but with a gun, not a wood chipper.
Yeah. So a car, the only real cover you get from a car is roughly the engine block. Your doors are, you can shoot through the doors fairly easily. In fact, you can actually shoot a 9mm through a door with still
22 of them through a door.
Plenty of lethal protection, damages. So your car is not the safest place for you to hunker down and hide in.
Right.
So, yeah, that gun against a car, it doesn't matter about the engine block because every bit of that car has it's not Swiss cheese, it's a cheese grater.
Right. Well, let's see. We're an hour and a half in, and you guys got another show here in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Get ready.
So we appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen. I love all the questions. We always enjoy getting the interaction and the questioning from you. It's beautiful. It's reassuring that y'all are paying attention and interacting. We look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, right here on the Bill of Rights Network. As always, I'm Cameron.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Wally.
And this is the Second Amendment Ranch. Don't end up on our gun fail.